it is time for us to start up our presentation for our final 6 matches for the top 4 round robin and talk about our champions and their prizing. Every single person who was invited to participate in the 2021 Global Championships was someone who performed well in previous terminal competitions, whether it was terminal online or regional competition or a school competition in your area. Every single person who moved up past the first week beat out multiple teams from their school or their local area. And then they did so again the next week and beat out multiple schools in their region, some of the top algos in terminals history. And now for the first time, we have one of the most competitive competitions in terminals history, with players from all around the world filtered up after beating out tons of super strong algos, competing to be the 2021 terminal world champion. So huge stakes on the table here. A quick recap of our prizes for today is that every single person who's made it this far, all 4 of you of your teams, have already earned $5,000 is the lowest prize that anyone is going to be leaving here with today. So congratulations on that. The first place terminal champion is what everyone is gunning for, where you will not only have the prestige of being the 2021 terminal champion, but you will also be walking home with $30,000, which is going to be $10,000 each for each of your teammates, which is quite a pretty penny. And the second place player will also get double their prize money and leave with $10,000, which I'm sure they will also be very happy with. So before we move on, one more quick note is that we will have another competition this summer, the Summer 2021 competition, which is just a one-off competition that everyone is going to be able to apply to and hopefully be invited. And it's open for anyone to participate if they're interested. So similar.
Ryan,
yeah.
I'm sorry for interrupting. Just to clarify one thing there, it is open to everyone, but you need to be a current student in order to apply.
All right.
Just want to add that as well.
Perfect. Thank you for the clarification, Mert. And without further ado, we're gonna hop into our stream for today. It'll be a little shorter since there's only 6 matches, and we're gonna spend a little minute just giving a full, solid introduction to each of our teams. And Mert, if you want to double check that the teams are able to unmute themselves, and teams, just to give you guys a heads up, after I finish a quick introduction of each team, I'm going to ask you 1 or 2 questions along the lines of, to just give me something, a cool feature of your algo or something you're proud of or happy with, or something along those lines. So just if you want to have something cool in the back of your head. So I don't want to blindside the first person I ask. In any case, let's go from west to east as we have been doing. And let's open with Smite. Smite is the West Coast champion representing Stanford University. We have Mihir Patel, Vinjay Vale, and Nikhil Sardana. Smite entered terminal for the first time in February of 2020 at the UCal versus Stanford head-to-head competition, where they earned an undefeated first-place victory. Then a year later, they struck again in March of 2021 in the West Coast Regional just a few weeks ago, where they earned another undefeated victory after 13 matches against some of the best teams of the West Coast. So definitely a team not to be slept on. In the Global Championships, they barely broke a sweat against their 2 colleagues to become the Stanford champion, and then took down 3 school champions last week, as all of you did, to hold on to that title and become the undefeated West Coast champion. So Smite actually comes in with one of the most prestigious records, going undefeated in a school versus school head-to-head competition, undefeated in a regional competition, undefeated in their school's competition, which most of you are, and undefeated in their region for this global. So Smite has a spotless competition record. They've been a favorite to win the whole shebang from week 1 and have not disappointed. Terminal is a game where just one wrong move can cost the whole game, and getting such a perfect record shows that they're not just the best of their region, but they are a cut above the rest. Now on the world stage, they are finally hoping to face off against a worthy opponent. And hello, Team Smite. I see you guys are hanging out together. Do you guys want to give a few words about some of the iconic features we should look out for in your algo, or some of the cool, algorithmic programmatic stuff that you've done?
Hey guys, my name is Mihir, and my teammate Vinjay is here. Our third teammate is somewhere behind the Zoom background. His name is Nikhil. We're super excited to be here, and it's been super fun. So our bot is pretty straightforward. We have a fixed V structure with 2 sides that are pretty defensible. the goal of our bot is really to help strafe and damage our opponent. And our core idea is we want to maximize the arbitrage rate between attacking resources, MPs, and defending resources, SPs. So to do this, we have a powerful simulator that essentially simulates various attacks from various positions, simulates saving and the discount rate from that, and simulates opening up certain holes in our defenses to send attacks at null point angles. And we repeatedly send the best attack to maximize our arbitrage rate until the opponent has few defenses left, at which point we try to overwhelm them with a few pings.
Awesome. I'll keep an eye out that. We definitely saw that last week after the defenses crumble. Smite is very quick to pick up on the openings and finish off their opponents. So you guys have been doing it, really, really killing it, and excited to see how you do this last day. All right, our next team is Ring Road Bets from the Central region, and they are representing Waterloo. I once referred to Waterloo as the MIT of Canada in the office, and some of my Canadian coworkers corrected me and reminded me that MIT is the Waterloo of America. So thanks to them. But we have Eric Liu, Kevin Liu, and Ronak Pradeep from Ring Road Bets. Everyone in the in the Zoom, right? Everyone who is competing right now has faced off against a lot of extremely strong teams in their region. But Ring Road Bets probably took one of the hardest paths to get here. The most competitive events in Terminal before this global championship format have traditionally been, I think I'm sharing my Zoom call on the share screen. Whoops. But some of the most difficult events have traditionally been before the global championship were the online seasonal competitions, which were public global online competitions that anyone could upload algos to and participate in, and you would compete to have the highest rating, and then the top 10 would face off at the end of each season. And in those seasonal top 10s, every single season over the course of our 7th season, we had representation from UMich and very often from Waterloo as well, sometimes multiple schools from those regions. This central region was extremely, extremely competitive. Earth of Fire, the algo that Ring Road Bets beat in their final game of their regional, was actually another really, really serious favorite to win, and they've come in at the top 5 for like 4 online seasons in a row. So they were a very serious contender. So Ring Road Bets has faced off against a lot of extremely strong algos, has participated in plenty of competitions in the past, and they are ready to take their crown. So Ring Road Bets, do you guys want to give a few little insights into what your algo does and any cool stuff you guys are doing?
I guess I can say on behalf of my team. So our algo is like pretty much really heavily based on simulators, and we like simulating basically almost every possible location on the map to find what's the best attack to do.
Mm-hmm.
And something like really challenging about this competition was the delay in the removals. So like for our simulators, we had to like simulate and account for that like a few turns in advance. So that was pretty challenging to do. Also, one of our main strategies is scouting. So we like scouting a lot, looking at what strategies the other teams are doing and how we can counter those strategies with our own algo. So yeah, and then for dynamic algos as well, we try to make our algo as dynamic as possible. So swapping layouts based on what the opponent is doing, and that's one of our core strategies as well. So.
And I noticed last week that you guys have a very, very fast compute time on a lot of turns. Do you always run all of your simulators, or do you sometimes lock in a move early if you see a really strong looking move?
Yeah, so sometimes I mentioned like we switch layouts and algos before, so that might be one of the reasons why the compute time was low, because like when we find out that the opponent is doing something that we already predetermined, we run like an algo that we selected, and that algo might not have a simulator in there. So for example, our Demolisher Lines algos, they don't run simulators because it's a very easy attack. So there's no reason for simulators. So yeah.
And once
the reason.
Yeah, got you. Once you commit to a new layout, one of these, so your algo basically has multiple algos to choose from. And once you commit to a different strategy, can you swap bases to any of the other algos, or are you locked in for the rest of the game?
Yeah, so I guess for this config, it would be more difficult to do because of the delay.
Yeah,
But
for
for
sure.
other configs, like the Midwest, I remember like there was a really high refund percentage. So for that one, we were like constantly switching layouts for that one.
Yeah, those high refund competitions were very very good for algos that had a lot of different layouts. All right, awesome. Thank you, Kevin. And
Thanks.
that is Ring Road Bets. So the next team we have here is Mask On, and these guys are the East Coast champions, and they are representing Princeton. We have Leon Johansson and Yazan Mimi. Leon started off with a solid 14th place finish in the Princeton versus Penn competition last year, where they played for the team Domo Arigato, Mr. Roboto. Then joined forces with Yazan to take 7th place in the East Coast Regional under the team named Lifting Belt. They were certainly an underdog in the East Coast Regional last week, facing off against MIT's Rakia that took 1st place in the East Coast Regional and numerous other top 5 East Coast Regional algos. But they were able to pull through. They've made a lot of improvements, and they performed really well in this config, and they were able to take on an underdog victory from those other algos. And yeah, let's see if they can do it again. So, do you guys want to give a few words about your algo, Liam or Yazan?
Yeah, sure. I can say a few things. I think a feature that makes our algorithm somewhat different from the others is it doesn't have much of a set base design. Especially last week, we used a very dynamic algorithm that built structures individually by simulating opponent attacks instead of having kind of a preset layout where you build. So this has a couple advantages, including letting you remove structures that you think will be easily destroyed, or saving cores between turns because you realize that spending more cores won't actually reduce the amount of damage that the opponent could deal, things like that. So for this week, I made a couple improvements to this kind of dynamic defenses. And in order to counter some of the other strategies which had started to counter the dynamic strategy by, for instance, having demolisher lines that can adjust the Y height, which Smite was working on a lot this week, I changed made a kind of a last minute change to a slightly more structured defense where it won't build in the front. So we'll see if it works, but I'm afraid there might be a small bug in it. But
oh no, yeah, that's been the bane of many a top algo. Is I know a lot of you guys are rushing to get these algos finished by the deadlines, and there's always last minute adjustments that need to go out when you notice those last few matches. We've had it happen quite a few times before where top contenders or other really top algos get stricken down by these last minute bugs. But yeah, I'll be looking forward to seeing the dynamic play from Mask On, and that sounds awesome. Alpha Terminal is the last team to introduce. These guys are our European champions representing Cambridge as well as ETH Zurich. We have Lucas Kopp Schorer and Demetrius Kosalidis. Trying my best, guys. And thanks, guys. I got a thumbs up. Nailed it. Our European champions are new to the Terminal World stage. This global competition, or the European Regional a few weeks before, was our first large-scale terminal event in Europe. So they haven't had school versus school competitions or regional competitions in past years to build up their school's terminal expertise and have stronger opponents to contend against. And this makes them a little bit of a wild card region. Our European players have not played a significant amount of games against our core audience in their competitions and their tournament matches. So I at least don't have a strong point of reference to compare their strength against. So they're a real wild card for me to see how they're going to do in this competition. What we do know is that similar to Smite, Alpha Terminal has absolutely wreaked havoc in their competitions they have participated in. They went undefeated in their regional and then lost a single match last week on the path to the world stage. Now, that's the only tournament match that they have lost so far in their history. So Alpha Terminal, what does your algo do that makes it so powerful, such a threat? Your mic is not going through right now, Lucas, I think. very quietly. If there's some sort of volume setting, it might be related to that.
How about now? Can you hear now?
Still a little quiet, but a lot better.
Okay, like this.
Oh, that sounds perfect. You're great.
Okay, sorry about that.
No worries.
Thanks for hosting the competition. It was great fun. So yeah, about the algorithm, we decided earlier this week to completely redo it with a completely different layout and finally also with a simulator. So now we have a layout that has kind of two funnels, but also that we can open up in the middle because it gives a lot of attack vectors, and that really enables to use a simulator also. So now every turn we have some, I think over 100 attack scenarios, so different ways to place structures and place attacking units. And then we simulate how they would turn out. And that's basically how we try to, be dynamic against a lot of different structures, and also adapt our own structures so that we can take them a bit forth or back depending on what the opponent is doing.
Wow. And how do you account for your victory in the European competition? What did your algo do back then?
Yeah, I think we had like some exposed structures there that weren't really supposed to be exposed. And back then we also had this demolisher line, which can be good against some algorithms, but if the opponent doesn't expose a lot, then it's just not really effective.
Mm-hmm.
So that's also why we went away from that and tried to go with a more flexible layout.
Gotcha. And hopefully it pays off for you guys. So even more of a wild card, since this algo is fresh off the shelf, brand new. We have no idea how it's going to do, or at least I don't. Well, technically I do, but let's pretend I don't. Anyway, that is our top 4 introduction. So thanks all of you guys. It's great always to hear the insights from our top players. It sounds like I think everyone is now running a simulator, so that's traditionally been the mark of the best algos in Terminal. So it should be a really epic competition, and it is really anyone's game. And I am looking forward to see how these matches play out. So without further ado, let's hop into our first match. We have Ring Road Bets from Waterloo contending against Alpha Terminal from Europe, Cambridge and ETH Zurich. Let's pull this up. And we have the correct match, and let's hop right in. So right off the bat, we have a decent opening spread of demolishers here. We have a few scouts going out every round, which is pretty interesting. Usually in these very early rounds, we might see more interceptors trying to prevent their opponent from scoring, as well as an interceptor can usually sneak past an unupgraded turret, depending on their positioning and what path they take. So Ring Road Bet's really holding on to a few resources here very early in the game. Uh-oh. What's going to happen here? Oh, sorry, I accidentally, when I mouse over the slider, it starts replaying the same frame over. So something happens here. It looks like both algos are going to stop sending units for quite a few turns, and then, oh no! Disaster has struck. Ring Road Bets crashes in the final round. That is definitely not what they wanted to see. This is really, really bad. All right. Well, sorry to Ring Road Bets. It happens, definitely happens, and we did not want to see that today, and they definitely did not either. So there's not much more to say about that one, guys. Sorry again. You hate to see it. You really hate to see it. I know some of the outcomes, but I haven't watched the matches, so I was unaware that was going to happen. Really, really, really unfortunate, guys. Just my condolences. I know it's rough. I know you guys put a lot of time in. I just really last minute changes, it happens, but best of luck in future competitions, and we'll see. Hopefully it doesn't crash in the next games. We'll hold out hope. In any case, after that very solemn victory for Alpha Terminal, not the way they wanted to win. I'm sure they were excited to get a great match in, but in any case, we'll move on to our next match between Smite and Mask On. And let's see how they do in this game. So from Smite, we have seen a lot from both algos. Actually, we're expecting some really dynamic play. I guess from everyone we are at this stage in the competition. All the algos are so refined. So we have a demolisher line go out here that does a bit of chip damage against the enemy turrets, and again more chip damage. So Smite, this is something we've seen them do, a lot of times, and what they talked about is just chipping away their opponent's resources sending out this single demolisher. We've commented on this in a lot of different. Oh, and there we go. This is exactly what they were talking about with these different openings. Oh, it is so effective. Look at that. How beautiful. So the ability to open up any position in their demolisher line, or not any position, but a few hand-selected positions that they prepare a few rounds earlier. The ability to use this structure as a demolisher line to attack through it from multiple different locations with multiple different units. They are just absolutely demolishing the competition. They are able to destroy enemy defenses every round. If the enemy's built in the front, oh wow, just perfect play. Really, really exceptional play from Smite. I think that these guys are playing by hand. Do you guys see Mihir's hands? Are they on camera? I think he turned on play by hand mode for this game because these moves are just transcendent. This is some of the, this is really, 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 really clean algo. And Smite should definitely be happy with their work over the past week. It's really showing, and just an excellent victory so late in the competition. That is going to move them one step closer to another $10,000 or $30,000 if they're able to keep this up. But this is looking really good for Smite. What a great algo. I mean, it just does everything, right? So you can set up a demolisher line. The enemy cannot build in the front couple of rows. It's just not feasible against this. They can open up like 100 different spots, like a dozen different spots, and attack through. We saw them attack through with supported scouts. We saw them attack through with supported demolishers from all different angles, from all different directions, all different spawn points. Just a really, really, really clean algo, and that's exciting to see. From Mask On, it looks like they just weren't able to develop their strategy. They were put under too much pressure too early in the game by Smite's relentless attacks, and yeah, that's Mask On. So hopefully they're able to hold their ground better in upcoming matches. For now, we take a victory for Smite, and that is 1 win for Smite and 1 win for Alpha Terminal. All right. We have Ring Road Bets and Mask On, and I am praying for you guys. It looks like this game does go a little longer, so we might be able to see a proper match. And Ring Road Bets, nice little start with the scouts. It is interesting that that we have a lot of scouts in our openings instead of interceptors that we see more often. But I do love seeing all the different units being used. So it looks like we have a proper game here. Both players have their core defenses built out. Both players have, we see similar to what we see in Smite. We see openings coming out in lots of different random locations in their front lines, and that's going to give them a lot of flexibility in their attacks. And a right side attack, a big score for Mask On against Ring Road Bets, bring them to 25. Ring Road Bets still has a pretty significant advantage with tying things up now for Mask On, and Ring Road Bets attack loses there. A lot of upgraded structures coming out from both players. Their defense is going to be really hard to open up, but Mask On takes the game against Ring Road Bets, and very, very happy that they didn't crash. And it wasn't enough to win, but I'm sure they are very happy to see their algo in play. So this is something that starts getting interesting, is that it actually gets harder and harder to comment on the algos as the algos get more refined, because it's just really trickier to see the sort of advantages that we're getting and comment on things beyond the core base. Of course, I'm sure everyone sees we have a self-destruct trap, pretty standard defense from Ring Road Bets is what they decided to go with. Obviously, we heard them talk about how their algo has multiple different sub-algos that they can choose from, and one suspicion is it's possible that one of those sub-algos is the one that has an error in it somewhere. So it looks like their self-destruct trap was able to run properly, and unfortunately was not enough. So let's see what Mask On is doing with their core defense. It looks like they have a pretty standard. It doesn't. So the self-destruct traps, it looks like they're on the left and right sides maybe, and then just standard. I don't know. Hard to describe this one. We do have these upgraded supports in the center over here, and yeah, they can be pretty flexible with their attacks. Like we saw some right side pings, some right side scouts running across the entire center to reach over to the left side, and yeah, that's our second game. So I guess we will leave it with that. Ring Road Bets running out too low on structure points to repair that corner and leaving it wide open for this final attack here. And Mask On probably realized that in addition to this corner being open, but especially they didn't have enough structure points to reinforce it. So this was a very clean attack from Mask On. So congrats to Mask On. All of our algos now have 1 win on the board with the exception of Ring Road Bets. And let's move on to our next round and see if Ring Road Bets can get back into the championship in their last game against Smite. And let's pull it up. All right, pretty standard openers for both players. It looks like almost everyone has adopted the Scout opener, where in the past we've almost exclusively seen Interceptor openers. Smite now has a hook structure on their left side, or something akin to it, where the Demolisher is able to attack their left corner and then sort of back up away from the center. We have a really great attack from Ring Road Bets using a self-destruct to break open the left side, followed up by 5 pings which I'll score. A very, very even and close game so far. An Interceptor goes out here, possibly predicting an attack, and a good amount of chip damage from that Demolisher. Smite was probably hoping to see a little more than that, but you got to take what you can get. That is another nice little pile of chip damage against that back wall. And we'll see more chip damage going out here. And eventually, yep, that will break through. So a score goes out, and also quite a few cores are being taken. So this attack is now going to really start hurting. Oh, sorry, this is Smite. So Ring Road Bets is doing a really good job of hammering away at Smite, and Smite is going to have a hard time building out their base further. They've decided to save up for 4 Demolishers in 1 attack. Let's see if they can break through. They really wanted to that round, but they were not able to do so. I think sending out individual Demolishers each turn, like Ring Road Bets has been doing, instead of trying to punch a hole, may have been worked out for them. Smite now on their back foot, getting it pushed every single round by Ring Road Bets, sending 3 Demolishers this time. They really want to punch a hole, and the 3 Demolishers are not very effective at breaking a little bit of damage into this right side here, and not doing much else than that. Let's see how the structure points are doing. Smite is on their back foot with 53 structure points versus Ring Road Bets' 76, and 3 Demolishers are going to do a lot of damage to Smite, bringing them down to 41, knocking out almost like 20% of their defenses. Another Demolisher. Ring Road Bets relentless with their attacks, constantly building up a larger and larger base, and it is going to take quite an impressive attack from Smite to do something here. And with all of these upgraded walls in the front row, it's going to be very, very tricky for Smite to come back from this using their Demolisher strategy. So 2 upgraded Interceptors probably here to intercept a potential attack. And 11 Scouts, and they score into this weak left side. Ring Road Bets has been scored on this weak left side before by Mask On. It was the opening that gave Mask On their win. And it looks like Ring Road Bets was not able to repair it in time. And another big thing, 11 Scouts this time. Again, Smite is getting ready to attack the left side again in 2 turns. In next turn, Smite will attack this left side again, and they now have a funnel built out on their right. 16 pings going through. Ring Road Bets' left side is completely open, and with any luck from Smite, they will be able to attack it again in a few turns. A big attack from Ring Road Bets does not go through. 13 pings, self-destruct. This game still goes on for quite a few rounds. We're only 75% of the way through, so Ring Road Bets will be staying alive for at least a while, have a few more opportunities to attack. With the funnel built out on the right side, it's going to be pretty tricky to get a solid attack. And 5 Interceptors go out here. Ring Road Bets knows that they are about to lose the game with 26 mobile points from Smite, and they had to use Interceptors this round to try to keep themselves in the game. Smite opts to instead destroy what's left of Ring Road Bets' base, not trying to close things out yet, but keeping Ring Road Bets on their back foot. Ring Road Bets is forced to send Interceptors every round here because they're being threatened by so many resources. A great attack from Smite. Let's actually look at that again. We have 30 Scouts going out from Ring Road Bets here. And let's just see this in slow motion. We have the supported shielded Demolishers contest these Scouts reasonably well and knock them almost completely out. And now they're going to go on to continue to score. And I'm sure that these Interceptors had the attack come from various different directions, been able to do quite a bit of damage. So it looks like this is quite the back and forth game. We now have Smite cleaning out the last of Ring Road Bets' defenses. Ring Road Bets still in the game, but it looks like it's going to be trickier and trickier for them to come back. And Smite is getting ready to finish off their opponent. 32 Scouts, and this is going to be it for Ring Road Bets. They are not stopping that attack. Smite takes their second game of the the global top four, world, whatever we're calling it, finale. So congratulations to Smite. That is going to secure a very, very, very good chance of getting at least second place. I think there are still ways that it works out. Otherwise, in a 2-2-2 tie where your rating is not high enough, you could get bumped down. But we will see how the next few games play out. But that is going to be very, very exciting for Smite to see. And it keeps their undefeated streak going. Smite has one more match left to maintain their perfect tournament run across all of their different games. Alpha Terminal also contending for a very similar title, losing only a single match. So we just watched a very exciting match between Ring Road Bets and Smite. Unfortunately, that is the last match for Ring Road Bets. So that will be it for Ring Road Bets. Sorry to Ring Road Bets. Obviously, very unfortunate to see a crash out in one of your better matchups, ideally, but it's good that you got the two solid games in. It was very, very close against Smite. That was a really close one. I actually was leaning. I thought had I not already known the result, I would have thought that Ring Road Bets was winning the early game pretty well. So great run from Ring Road Bets. That is $5,000 for the team, and congratulations again for making it to the top four. And let's check out what I believe is the last match for Mask On. This is Mask On versus Alpha Terminal. Mask On competing for a second place finish. I believe that winning this match and getting 2 wins will secure a second place finish. Yeah. I looked at it beforehand. So winning this match will secure a second place finish for Mask On. And losing will move Alpha Terminal up to the final round between 2 nearly undefeated algos. This is a shorter game. This config is really interesting because we are seeing a lot of shorter games, a lot of faster games, all the different units being used. It's actually my favorite config that we've ever rolled out in terminal history. So I'm just super happy about the work that went into this. And we have 5 early scores for Mask On, putting Alpha Terminal on the back foot early. Let's see how effective these 4 demolishers are. They completely demolish the right side of Mask On, almost completely, leaving up a single upgraded turret, but it is at low enough health that this next batch of demolishers is able to take it out. So a lot of cores being scored here from Alpha Terminal. Let's see if it's enough to give them a core advantage. 4 more scouts scoring. Alpha Terminal now 9 cores behind, but they were able to destroy more than 20, giving them an advantage over Mask On even still. Mask On again going for a score, but now their Alpha Terminal's V shape is locked down. And this is what Alpha Terminal was talking about. They have these various openings. They can send out lots of different attacks from lots of different angles. And this is their core V shape. So they have a single primary main structure. And at 9 scouts, the first big score from Alpha Terminal goes out here. 20 scouts, will it be enough to break through? And they stop at the self-destruct trap. We saw a similar funnel shape to this from Earth of Fire, possibly an inspiration, and that will seal the game for Alpha Terminal. That is almost certainly going to be a win. A perfectly placed stack of 3 demolishers. It breaks open the right side. And the scouts, unexpectedly, I wouldn't have expected that, attack the reinforced right side instead of the open left side. But there we go. 8 more scouts cleaning up that upgraded support unit, and they're going to continue to score here. There's no way for Mask On to reinforce this left side. They will have to send interceptors through this opening every round for the next few rounds. But against an algo like this, using your mobile points in that way is not going to be enough. And Alpha Terminal opts to attack through the center, possibly predicting. Let's see if this was a prediction. Possibly predicting reinforcement on this left side, or maybe their left side is actually still blocked off, so this was the only attack they could do. This is interesting. If Mask On was really clever, the only attack option possible this round would have been through the center. So this left side reinforcement was actually strictly incorrect. But Mask On was on their back foot anyway. It would have taken more than just that optimization to keep them in the game. They're actually still in the game. They have 4 health left. I thought that would be the finishing blow, but this one will be 15 scouts going out here. And Alpha Terminal with 2 wins on the board now. Mask On will be taking our 3rd place slot with a single win in the competition, not bumping up their prize money, finishing with a very nice 5,000 for their team. And we move on to the last game of the grand finals. All right, Alpha Terminal and Mask On. And Alpha Terminal takes it. And we have 2 absolute giants contending for both of you guys have secured a 10,000 prize at the minimum and are hoping to bump up your prize, tripling it bumping it up to $30,000 and making you all very happy. So let's see which of these two giants can take the final game of the global championship. One of you will be declared the terminal champion for 2021 in just a couple of minutes. Smite, completely undefeated, a spotless competition record up until this point. And Alpha Terminal has lost one game, I believe, against the Skeleton Boomers in their last week's fight to become the region champion for Europe. So some really, really, really incredible algos coming out here. Both of them able to attack very dynamically by opening up their base. Smite being a little more dynamic with the ability to completely reconfigure their base in a lot of different ways. And again, we see these scouts. I'm going to ask in the post-game interview about these because every single algo is doing it. And it's just pretty interesting. So Smite taking quite a bit of damage. I'd say losing the early game a little bit. They do a really solid amount of damage to these core, these walls. And these walls are really important to Smite's defense. If Smite isn't able to set these walls up properly, then it's going to be tricky for them to keep their base defended. So Alpha Terminal opts to completely remove those walls in the back, possibly to make sure that their corners are well reinforced and that they're not going to get any cheap attacks in. And another very effective attack from Smite there does a pretty decent chunk of damage to Alpha Terminal. Alpha Terminal, again, replacing all of those damaged units, reinforcing these filters, and again, another Demolisher attack. It just feels like Smite is just getting mobile points out of nowhere, just relentlessly attacking every round and actually scoring that round. Let's see what happened there. So Smite has that right side defended by a single unupgraded turret. Now upgraded. So this is the round. So so this right side is defended only by a single turret that has very, very low health left. So 9 unupgraded scouts is able to clean that up, deal some nice chip damage along all of these walls, and then score 8 times there. And Alpha Terminal is again gonna repair all of these walls. So and another big hit from Alpha Terminal. So that might actually be enough to really get them back into the game, blowing open the center, which is the obvious point of attack there because the funnel is so difficult. I think they actually made use of the of an attack hole that was opened up in order to attack the center in that way. So let's see what these. I'm just rewinding it to the attack where they opened up the center. Yeah, so it looks like they were able to just barely. This is probably from a simulator. They were able to figure this one out, but they're just barely able to break open enough space in this right side. And now that a shorter path is opened up, the Demolishers will start pathing left instead of right to get to their desired edge and do a solid chunk of damage. So that was a really great attack from Alpha Terminal. Again, this match is still neck and neck. Both players at around the same health. I think Smite will have a little more cores. Yep, they have 20 more cores, about 20% core advantage. Highly concentrated. Both players' cores are highly concentrated. So structure points are highly concentrated in their 2 corners, and it's really going to come down to these successful attacks. So 2 attacks running directly into each other there, and being stopped. Some damage is going to go into these upgraded units. So a few things that I can say for Alpha Terminal is this upgraded turret might be better off. I mean, it's hard to say which attack angle is more likely, but I just don't like seeing upgraded turrets without upgraded walls protecting them. You'll see that it looks like every single turret from Smite has some really good protection from their upgraded filters, because the core advantage, the structure point advantage you get from chipping away at these upgraded turrets is pretty significant. I think another thing for Alpha Terminal is they might be a little too quick to refund some of their units that are only very slightly damaged, which, you know, the structure point loss that they get there is going to add up. 7 Demolishers. Can they blow open the right side again? I think those interceptors may have been the deciding factor that stopped it. I lost a round. But oh, here we are. So 7 Demolishers here. And let's see if these interceptors are the deciding factor here. So it looks like the first round they move into range is... Oh, actually, it looks like they avoid the interceptors entirely. So a pretty solid chunk of core damage on that right side, but Smite has still been slowly gaining their own core advantage. 5 demolishers there, not super effective, and an interceptor stops. Let's see how many scouts this was that were stopped by this interceptor. 19 scouts were. Yep, that is definitely assisted by the interceptor, because if that stack of interceptors was not there, then this upgraded turret definitely would have gone down. This interceptor alone probably took out 3 or 4 of these scouts. This would have been a huge turn for Alpha Terminal if those interceptors did not block all so-called that damage, and also do a lot to destroy that stack of scouts. So really great option of covering your bases with your. Oh, another scout wave is going to get intercepted here, and they're actually going to end up going right through the main funnel, which is something that you never want to see against a funnel strategy. And 5 demolishers is probably going to blow open this right side. No, they do not. Stopped by the upgraded turret. 7 demolishers now coming out, and with this turret at very low health, they might have a chance of blowing open this right side again. And there they go, 7 turrets, and Alpha Terminal actually takes what seems to be a little bit of an advantage now against Smite, having a small health bonus. Smite still able to consistently reinforce their corners, getting more and more of a core advantage, structure point advantage each round. But Alpha Terminal has been able to attack in a way that's been more consistent than Smite. That attack against Smite is going to be a major blow against Alpha Terminal, bringing them down to 10 health and putting them definitely on their back foot. 25 upgraded scouts here is going to run into 26 undefended scouts with interceptors helping them, and they intercept inside of the funnel, being railed by a few solid handful of turrets. We already have, and that is going to be the game with these huge stack of scouts running right through these weakened defenses from Alpha Terminal. Alpha Terminal just had a hard time maintaining core advantage, and a huge congratulations to Smite, our spotless record, undefeated terminal champions for the Global 2021 global competition. Huge shout out to you guys. Amazing algos from all 4 of our teams. A few quick post-game interview questions for Smite if you guys want. Do you guys want to enlighten me about the decision to use scouts in the early game? We've seen that from almost all of our algos. Why was that so effective this last week?
Great question. So this is actually something we were, the original turrets can't cover the entire space. So we actually look at the first turn turret locations of each team, the kind of case on the team, and we know exactly where the hole will be. So hopefully we know that like the first or second scout is going to score, and that'll give us enough points to give a slight advantage.
I mean, the other reason is because when you score, you get a structure point. Mm-hmm. And so in the very early game, having that extra structure point actually makes a bit of a difference.
Yeah, and especially when resources are so tight in the early game, it's definitely going to be a huge. It's something I really love about this config is I do feel like not to toot my own horn, but that the early game, the mid game, and the late game all feel distinct, and that there's like distinct advantages that you can get at each stage of the game, and different algos can be good at different stages. And we've seen algos get swept by losing the early game and just their defenses crumble, and we've seen algos make it pretty late, and just have different specializations. So it's awesome to see. I am curious. What is the difference for you guys between sending scouts versus interceptors? So I know scouts are going to do a little bit of chip damage, and they do score. Okay, so the difference is just that you get that little bit of chip damage in that the interceptor wouldn't otherwise get, and you know that it's going to score based on the layout.
Yeah, that and mostly the structure point you get from scoring is worth a lot more.
Yeah. There's an equivalent. So you can send it in this turn. What I usually see throughout all of Terminal's history, I almost always see in the first 1 or 2 or 3 turns, I see interceptors go out instead of scouts. And the advantage of the interceptor is that if it runs into the enemy unit, and the enemy unit is sending interceptors and you're sending scouts, then the interceptor is going to get the structure point, and the interceptor is also usually going to have enough health to walk through the turrets in the early game. So you still get your mobile point, and you just get, that's like the trade-off is basically the scout gives you the chip damage and the interceptor gives you a little bit more chance of winning.
And the other thing is sometimes the scouts will cut in just at the edge of the turret range, so the interceptor is too slow and would die.
Yeah,
but the scout can pass through.
Yeah, for sure, because it lasts twice as many tiles. I'd have to crunch the number, but yeah, that's awesome. Okay, cool. I was curious about that. But yeah, just really phenomenal attacks from all of our algos. you can really see the simulator in action. I think Alpha Terminal had a really phenomenal simulator, you guys. And I think the weak point for Alpha Terminal was your defenses. What would you guys improve Alpha Terminal from this match?
So two things really. I think one thing is the simulator works, but we don't simulate this interceptor that Smite is spawning. So that really throws it off. And the other thing, as you also pointed out, these exposed turrets and like this variation of the design are not good. But yeah, overall, big congrats to Smite. Really well played. Was huge fun against you guys, and congrats to everyone who participated.
Yeah, I hope you guys all had a lot of fun. I think that's the last of my questions, and it has been a real pleasure running the global competition. This has been one of the most exciting competitions I've run, and I'm really happy with all the streams, and I'm glad that you guys have had a great time. And obviously, glad that you guys are going to get to walk home with a nice little chunk of change in your pockets. So I think that is all for our stream, unless Mert has anything else to share. But with that, let's take one quick look at our final standings. We have Smite from Stanford going undefeated with 30K in their bank account for their team. 10,000 to Alpha Terminal, our second place team from Cambridge, and one teammate from Cambridge, one teammate from ETH Zurich, but ETF there. And Mascon with 5,000 from Princeton, and Ring Road Bets from 5,000 from Waterloo. And Stanford is our top school on Terminal. Smite is our 2021 global champion. So Smite, if you guys ever use the Terminal forum, you can message me there and I'll make you a forum badge that says like 2021 Terminal champion, so you can rock it next to your name. And that is all for the competition. So I'm sure all of you guys will apply to the summer 2021 competition. You're all obviously going to be favorites to win. And it has been really exciting. So congratulations again to everyone. Mert, you're going to close it off?
Yeah, just to echo what Ryan was saying and Andrew was typing on the chat box. Congrats for all the teams, and a special shout out to Stanford for being the first champions of Terminal Global Championship. We had a blast hosting this competition for the past few weeks. We hope you enjoyed it as well. For those of you who participated as spectators, thank you so much for joining the events that we have prepared for us. Hope you enjoyed these broadcasts that we had, and thanks so much for joining.